going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, obviously we already know what's going on with the Netcode and XDefiant. We know there's issues. Mark Rubin already addressed them, and he also has come out and said that they're building the Netcode from the ground up. So obviously, there's a lot of things that are going to have to be done. There's going to be a lot of problems that arise. It's not as simple as just copying and pasting from a separate game and just making a new title. It just isn't that way when it comes to XDefiant. But Mark Rubin has also given out a little bit more detail on what's going on here and what they're actually running into. And I think this right here explains absolutely everything. Every issue we're having, every problem that's occurring, and why the developers are just having, a rough time being able to polish this overall system off for the community. But ladies and gentlemen, before we go ahead and dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content just like this, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell notification button. We're actually creeping up to 49,000 subscribers. Absolutely absurd to see, and I appreciate all the love and support. So of course, if you guys are interested in more stuff like this, like I said, subscribe, hit that bell. And I won't be live today on Sunday, but we will be back in action on Monday. So if you guys are interested in that and you want to check out any of my live streams, I stream over on Twitch between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time, and you guys can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, like I just said in the beginning of this video, we already know that the Netcode is a problem because they are trying to build it from the ground up. It's not as easy as copying and pasting like COD does every single year, or a game like Battlefield where they have other games to base themselves off of, or Halo, literally any other franchise in the world. This is a completely different story. They are building this Netcode from the ground up, so trust me when I say this, there is a lot of work to be done. But like I said, Mark Rubin gave us a few more details, and this, to me personally, explains everything. Absolutely everything. As you can see right here over on Twitter, and of course, this is a response to another post. But Mark Rubin said, rushed out? No. What we have is an engine that has only ever been an MMO. And so all of the infrastructure for an FPS has had to be built up from the ground floor. Even COD started on ID Tech, which was a shooter engine. Apex started on a shooter engine. But for us, we are working on developing all new tech in an engine that was designed for something else. That being said, the engine is really great, but it does require a lot of work, and with that work comes a lot of bugs that other engines have already worked out. We are not a shooter that's been out for 20 years. If you like what we are trying to do, stick around and you'll see things improve and new features get added. But if the game isn't for you, that's okay. You can move on. Mark Rubin, I thank you for putting out these details. Again, because a lot of us out here in this community don't know what's going on here, including myself. I'm not a game developer. I never designed a game in my life. I don't know what the heck's happening here. So having a team go so into detail and let us know what the heck is happening, why it's happening, what's going on, reasons for things, it's such a huge step in the right direction because it shuts the freaking community up. In COD, we don't shut up because a lot of people just don't simply know, the basics of game design. And again, some development teams, cough, Infinity Ward, shouldn't really be defended here, man, because they've been ignoring us nonstop. But other issues, I sit here and think to myself, this is just a common problem. But the COD devs don't describe that. They don't give us details. They don't fill us in on things, on why stuff is happening. Mark Rubin does. If someone is clapping back at him, he's going to clap right on back with actual details and make them look like absolute imbeciles. And I love that. I absolutely love. Nothing makes my day more than logging onto Twitter, seeing some random guy who has absolutely no clue what they're saying, spew out some garbage, get a ton of likes. They get like 50, 100 plus likes from a bunch of other people who don't know what they're talking about. And then Mark Rubin instantly coming back and saying, yep, you're wrong, this is why. As easy as possible, lining them up, and all the other people who supported that post, just line them all up and just making them look, once again, stupid. But guys, this is the facts. This is the cold, hard facts here. Yes, they are building the Netcode from the ground up at the same time. They're not even using an engine that was designed for a first-person shooter game, arcade game to be exact. They're using an engine based off of an MMO. I think it's actually the engine for The Division, if I'm not mistaken here. But again, guys, seriously, do you really expect a team to take an engine from an MMO and perfectly transfer it over to an arcade fast-paced arena shooter? And if you say yes, you have absolutely lost your mind, and once again, you have no clue what you're talking about. This might be one of the biggest challenges I've ever seen a development team go through, and everybody's going to say, well, why are they? They're stupid. They're such stupid developers for picking this engine. Again, How dense do you people have to be to not understand that publishers have the mass control over everything that goes on? Yes, Mark Rubin and his team are very responsive. They're keeping up with the community. They're making community changes. But everything down to the core, like personally, I'm shocked they were even able to go ahead and mess around with the XP rates. I thought Ubisoft was going to be very stern with that one and say, no, we're not letting these people grind out a free-to-play game and get stuff done in 2 seconds. We're not doing that, but they allowed it. So I was kind of shocked. But again, it's a reason I'm shocked, because publishers aren't usually, giving these development teams that much freedom. Ever. So yes, when it comes to the engine, I am 99.9% positive that Ubisoft did this for a reason. It wasn't Mark or his team's, the thought process of picking up this engine. I'm sure they would probably want an engine that was made for first-person shooter games, so they didn't have to run into all these problems 24/7 and try to polish off something completely fresh. But it's not their choice. It's Ubisoft's. And I guarantee Ubisoft said they do not. And when I say do not, they did not want to cough up a lot of money for a random engine, a third-party engine that would work, 10 trillion times better, but it's going to cost them a lot of money. Why not use something that's already in with all their other games and just, have the developers suffer and go through it and try to perfect it off? Now, is it impossible to perfect this engine? No. The developers are going to do it, but it's going to be a timely process. Right? They need time to be able to polish this off because it's never been done before. And who knows, this might pay off massively for this game in the future because it's on an engine that no other FPS game really ever took advantage of. It's an MMO engine. So if they can take an engine like that, transfer it over to a good arcade shooter, polish it off, get all the bugs out of there, that will make this game so stupidly unique. It will have its own feel that no other game is going to realistically mimic because it's not running on this similar engine. So if they can master it, the end goal, this could be absolutely huge for them. But the reality is that this engine was not made for this. And like Mark Rubin said, other engines, they basically already have a lot of the problems polished off, things situated. So when they transfer to another game or another game picks up that engine, things are already settled. Whereas here, yeah, they fixed up bugs for MMO games. But those bugs are not going to translate over directly to a game like, obviously, as you see here, XDefiant. It's like the same thing that happened with Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six Siege had the roughest time getting itself together. It took months and months for them to actually situate that game. But again, it was a similar problem here. For some reason, Ubisoft does not want to branch off from their own similar engines. And again, it makes sense. I feel like that's why a lot of these publishers do something similar. Because at the end of the day, it saves them a lot of money. But Rainbow Six Siege, I think it was running off of the Assassin's Creed engine or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty positive it ran off of the Assassin's Creed engine, which is absolutely mind-boggling. But, look at where Rainbow Six Siege is now. Once again, it's not impossible. It's not impossible, and people keep making it out to be this way. They keep making it out to be that these developers are incompetent and they don't know what they're doing. But nobody understands the true challenge of what these developers are put up against. And the funniest thing I always see is people saying, well, you know what? They should have never released the game then. If this was an MMO engine and they needed more time to polish it, they should have never released the game. But what do you do when you literally have the whole community yelling at you to launch it? Saying after beta, after beta, after beta, just release it already. Just release it already. Give me the game. I don't think I saw one singular person actually say, give this team some time. Actually, it was a couple, it was a few. But man, oh man, I might have been one of the very few people that kept saying, please, keep cooking. Don't rush it out. And if you do rush it out, it's whatever. I'll accept it because I enjoy the game. I'll play it, but I'm going to accept it with the mindset that it's going to be bugged, it's going to have problems, so on and so forth. But every single person I saw said, oh, it's too late now. They're not competing with the new Call of Duty game yet. Oh, they're not going to beat COD. It's a new COD game coming out. Oh, new update for Modern Warfare 3. No point in doing it now. Oh, they already missed their window. XDefiant's done for. It's no way they're... what do you do in a situation like that? Right? There's nobody saying to take your time. Everybody's saying release it now or you're screwed. So guess what they did? They released the game. And we all knew that it's ahead of time a little bit here, and they probably weren't completely ready, but it is what it is. We kept asking for it, so here it is. And honestly, it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be, currently in its place right now, besides, PlayStation problems still, even though they put out a little update to make it better. But I just hope people see this video and they see what the real challenge is here. This isn't as simple as picking up the game, polishing off a little bit, and shipping it out, right? It's not a reskin. This is a brand new game, a brand new netcode, running on an engine that never saw the light of day when it comes to an arcade-style game, FPS game. You know what I'm saying? So, with that knowledge, you gotta give them a little bit of time. Let them do their work. As long as they're acknowledging it and they're still putting out updates, which they have been, Season 1 is literally the only update. They didn't mention anything about netcode or hitreg, and the whole community faints. I don't get it. They literally put in an update. Every update, there was something for netcode and hitreg. And every single time it got a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. Yeah, we have a minor setback here with Season 1, but does that mean that the consistent work these developers have been putting in since day one, and the consistent communication and acknowledging the real issues and not hiding anything, that's going to disappear? No. And if it does, we got a problem. My attitude's going to completely shift. And I'm sure a lot of other content creators and a lot of people in the community, their attitudes are going to completely shift. But there's absolutely, in my opinion, no reason to have that right now when these developers are clearly showing that they want this game to improve and they have obstacles. They have a lot of barriers, hurdles to hop over. If you want this game to come out faster, why don't you go work on XDefiant, ladies and gentlemen? If it's really that big of an issue and you're such a coding genius, a coding master, why don't you go apply for XDefiant, help them out, and get these updates out a little bit quicker for us? But if you can't, then just leave it to them and let them do the work here. And, eventually over time, this game will be perfected. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post daily here at 8 morning Eastern time. And, of course, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I don't stream on Sundays, but I will be back on Monday over on Twitch between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time is when we go live. We usually stream for about 4 to 5 hours. So if you guys are interested, you have a little extra free time in your schedule, by all means, hop on in. I got a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace out.